Yeah.
All right, welcome back to It's Time Picks. We have UFC 306, Noche UFC. We have two title fights of this card. We have, of course, Grasso and Shevchenko, the trilogy fight. First one being Grasso, second one being a draw. And then we also have Sean Sugar O'Malley going against Merab Dvalishvili. And man, I wish this card had more than 10 fights. And for me, aside from the last three fights, I'm not really looking forward to a ton on this card. There's two other fights I'm looking forward to. But I mean, it is a fight card, and it should be, a relatively decent card at that, especially when we get to the end of the night. Joey, how you feeling about this one?
As I say every week, a fight card's a fight card. First fight night at the Spear. As you said, I wish it was more fights, and I'll have a few plays here and there for betting wise, but this might be a light version of DFS and betting. I'll probably slightly more on.
Sure. So, very first fight of the night is Raul Rosas Jr. going against Richie Long. There's not really much to be said in this fight, but Joey, tell us why you're going with Rosas.
Yeah, I'm going with Rosas because he's the kid on the rise. And I noticed I thought maybe it was an error. First fight, I'm like, why the hell is he the first fight? But I understand now why they want to. Hey guys, if you want to see the young upcoming star, come in early because usually fight night pay per views, there's barely nobody there. First fight, a lot of ND seats, so I think people are going to come out early, try to get good view of Rosas, and I think Rosas is going to win. The one thing I will say, if he tries to show off his striking in this fight, don't do it, please. Just grapple and do your bread and butter, win in front of your crowd and people, and you'll have no problem. But I will say this: Rory Lang, he's pretty durable for the most. He fights out of submissions. He can strike. And if you're telling me Rosas, does anything like he did against Rodriguez in this fight and is a close striking match, then good lord, I'm staying away from that 9,700. But I do think he's going to mix in takedowns. His striking probably is improving because he's so young and his talent does tend to grow and grow. So I do got Rosas, but I don't know. I may look at that sneaky decision prop for Rosas, man. You could probably get a good amount of plus money on it.
Uh,
But the
yeah,
ideal play,
I
Rosas.
don't know about
Look,
that.
look, I'm having two bets on this fight. I'm gonna have Rosas inside the distance because that's the more obvious. But I may sprinkle him by decision because the last time I don't think he's gonna knock out Uri Lang. That's not happening. Unless you tell me this man somehow developed punching power. But Uri Lang hasn't got subs since 2017, 2016.
Yeah, I don't know,
I
man.
don't know. Like
He
maybe he's a
hasn't
little
faced
Spider-Man itch, but
he hasn't really fought a grappler in the UFC yet. Look at it.
Johnny
Molina,
Munoz.
Durden, Ellis, Perrin, Zahavi, Munoz,
Munoz don't even
Marcos.
really grappler. But here's the thing though.
Yes.
Munoz took him down. Fucking Jay Perrin's bum ass took him down.
No,
Like,
I got Rosas by first or second round submission.
I don't hate that. But that's what I said. Like,
I don't think
I don't
Arichi
know.
Long
I
has
want
a
to see it first
chance.
because Ori Lang hasn't got finished in a while. So it might be worth a sprinkle. And you're like, holy shit, Joe said it. You damn right I said it. But
No, Arichi
9,700,
Long.
if he does mix in a lot of takedowns, control, he should pay off 97 and he can go from there.
I agree. So both of us are on the very heavy favorite in the first fight, going with Raul Rosas Jr. Next up, we have Edgar Charez going against Joshua Van. And I really wanted to take the dog in this one, a lot in part due to his grappling. But Joshua Van, I mean, he just suffered his first loss against a really, really good defensive fighter in Charles Johnson. And I don't take anything away from it. He learned a lot in that fight. But the thing with Van, his striking is so crisp and clean. If you don't have defense like Johnson, you're just going to get pieced up for 15 minutes. And his takedown defense is really freaking good. So unless Edgar can get this to the mat, he's going to get outpointed the entire fight. I got Van by a mile.
So I was looking at first when I saw the line, when the line first came, Charles was a big favorite. I saw minus. I was trying to hope my book had it because I was going to slam the money on Joshua Van. It was like plus 180 for Van when the line first dropped. I'm like, can my book please give me that bet? I would have took it by a mile and I would have been happy. Yeah, does the knockout worry me? It was like what 2, 3 months ago. Yeah, maybe it's just a T bit. He kind of walked into the punch, but I think Charas is too hittable. Yes, if it gets to the ground, can we be clinching our booty holes? Just maybe a teeny little bit, but I think Van's gonna win this by decision.
Yeah, that's what I've got it by too. I wouldn't be surprised to get him for him to get a late knockout, but decision is the better play here. But both of us are on the favorite in Joshua Van. Next up, we have a female fight, and I finally learned how to pronounce her name. We have Yasmin Yaregi
When I
going
got that,
against Katlyn Souza. I know you would. You're terrible with names. You've already pronounced the first two fights wrong. And you know, I got a lot of mixed feelings about this one. Joey, how are you feeling about it?
so I was gonna say how I was gonna say Yasmin's last name, Yasmin Jergui, but thank God I didn't say
Closer than a lot of the other
close
ones.
enough. But yeah, I think this line is a tad big. They're both good strikers. Um, but I'm not gonna lie, this is a pure striker versus striker match. Sosa doesn't really have BJJ. She does have one sub win, but that was like ages ago. I like Yasmin here. I like her volume. Sosa is extremely hittable. And like I said, Yasmin probably has some of the better boxing in her division. And can Sosa get clipped? Maybe, usually when she does lose, it's by finish, and she does have two KO losses. But I haven't seen Yasmin really put anybody out fully yet, and I would like to see it. Maybe she'll get excited with the crowd, she'll go crazy, and maybe she'll get a finish inside the distance. But I'm leaning her by decision. I think she's gonna outpoint the living shit out of her. Maybe like a round three. You could maybe sprinkle like a round three KO prop. You can get in the plus thousands for that one. That's live, but I got Yasmin. I think she's safe.
It's exactly how I have it written up. I don't see a finish either, even though both of these ladies have a lot of knockouts to their name. Um, so neither one of them has really fought the greatest competition. Uregi has definitely fought better competition.
Yes.
I don't know what to think of Ketlin Souza because she couldn't put Marnik Man out, and Man is just
Terrible.
absolutely dreadful. And I mean, there's nothing to say about it. I got Uregi, but I don't know if they score well enough or she scores well enough to hit value without a knockout. I think if there's no knockout and it goes to a decision, it's likely less than 100 strikes for both of them, which does not
Probably
score well.
like in the 70s.
So both of us are on the favorite in Yasmin Uregi. She's actually a really heavy favorite too.
That's what I saw some live
Next up, we have Manuel Torres going against Ignacio Bahamondes. And this should be a really exciting fight, particularly if this does stay on the feet. I don't think that it will, unless there's just a knockout right away. Bahamondes does not have much of a ground game, but he does have solid takedown defense, at least when it comes to people that actually don't grapple, because he hasn't really fought one. Um, Torres is an interesting fighter. He is very well rounded. He's also very scary. He's got a lot of power. He's already flashed it in the UFC. He knows how to fight fast. He knows how to forward pressure. And the biggest thing that I like is he knows how to protect his head. Uh, he doesn't let himself take big shots, and he showed that against Chris Duncan. Torres, if I were to plant my flag, like Joey does, my flag would be on Torres. He is probably my favorite play on the slate, aside from the two title fights. I love Torres in this fight. I think Ignacio Bahamondes is going to run into a bit of a buzzsaw here and just get clipped.
So I told you earlier that I was torn on this fight because primarily Torres wins in round one. But I went back to watch some Bahamondes fights. And one thing that does scare me if you're going towards his side, he's extremely flat footed at times. He gets comfortable on the feet. And Torres, but it's like if he finds a rhythm, he can make you miss. He can dodge, move, but he's a slow starter. He does get hit early. And it wouldn't shock me if he rocked Bahamondes, end up getting the back, maybe getting a submission of a sort. So yeah, I'm going Torres. Like I'm not gonna lie, Torres is my pick. I'm playing him for DFS. But if you don't do any DFS, if Bahamondes potentially survives round one and he looks fresh and Torres looks tired, that might be worth a sprinkle on Bahamondes money line, depending on how the fight looks. Because Torres hasn't been in round 2 in ages, right? I know he's been to a decision and he's lost. No, he went to one decision outside the UFC. He hasn't been outside of round 1 in ages. So you think if he puts a high pace and then he slows down in round 2, Bahamondes alive on the money line could be the play. But I'm going Torres. I think Torres does find the finish before the final judge.
I agree. And yeah, his cardio, if it does go out around one, will be something to watch and pay attention to. I honestly don't think it's going to be a problem because I've seen his training, but we shall see. Both of us are on the close favorite. I believe it's a close favorite. No, he's actually the dog now.
Wait, who? Wait, who's the dog?
Torres is.
Last time I saw, not even an hour ago, he was a favorite.
I gotta double check another site.
Double check that because last time I saw, he was like minus 120.
UFC.
If he's a dog, I'm putting a bet on him right now. Minus 135.
Yeah. Okay. So he's a favorite.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a favorite.
can't get me excited
So
like that.
they have flipped.
Yeah.
Oh, both of us are on the now slight favorite in Manuel Torres. Next up, we have Irene Aldana going against Norma Dumont. And I'm glad you get to talk about this fight first because I have something to say about it. See what you got.
I'll say this. If Dumont cannot get the takedown, there is a high probability that she could get knocked the fuck out. Because she's not nowhere near the better striker. Aldana got good boxing. She got good power for this division. But the thing I don't like about it, she's on the wrong side of 36. She got absolutely wrestle fucked by Nunez, but that is Amanda Nunez. But one thing that I love watching from Dumont, the last 2 fights, she's been racking takedowns and control out of her ass. And she has her own decent good striking as it is, but she's not the better striker in this fight. I think she's going to close the distance. I think she's going to get takedowns. She's going to get control. I'm going Dumont the pick. I like Dumont by decision. But if anyone is to get finished, I think it's going to be Dumont if she can't get the takedown. So I think Aldana is going to throw haymakers at her, similar to what Megan Anderson did.
Yeah, that's fair. That Megan Anderson fight was a long time ago, 4 years ago now, 4.5. Yeah, no, I am also on Dumont because I think that she just puts Aldana on her back and leaves her there, much like Kiasan did, or Macy Chasson, and then obviously Amanda Nunez. So Aldana is not, she's got great power and everything, but unfortunately, that's really all she has. And the older she gets, I mean, hard to really say a whole lot. Her last fight against Carol Hosa, she lost that fight. I don't know how they awarded her. It's got to be the first fighter in history that had a striking differential of minus 70 strikes and somehow won a decision.
But think about this. Now this is the Mexico theme. Norma better put damage on her because if he just holds her and you see Aldana on her back just throwing strikes, don't be shocked if this is another bullshit decision for Aldana. I'm telling you, Dumont do damage.
I would not be surprised by that at all. So, but I do think that we'll get at least.
I'm scared of playing this fight. That's the main reason because of that.
I think we'll get 7-8 minutes of control time from Dumont and at least 3 or 4 takedowns.
Shoot, you better get more of that. I don't want nothing on the feet.
So, both of us are on the dog in Norma Dumont. Next up, we have Joey's planted fight. We've got Ronaldo Rodriguez going against Ode Osborne. And for me, when it comes to Ode Osborne, I think we've seen everything that we're going to see from him. We know what we're getting. You're getting a slow striking, range findy type of striker. Doesn't really offer much else. He's slow. Ronaldo Rodriguez is going to absolutely murder him. This should end in the first round, if not the second round. And it should be easy work.
So with that being said, as my boy Drake said, my planet flag fighter, Ronaldo, lazy boy Rodriguez. But I'll say this right now, he doesn't fight like no goddamn lazy boy. He's in your grill.
He's not like Joey.
Hey, I better. But nah, realistically, I like Rodriguez in this fight. I'm actually shocked the line's not bigger. I'm really am. Last time I saw earlier the week, it was like minus 120. And now I think it's like minus 140, which I thought this line would be like minus 185, 190. Because I think Ode's done. All his losses are inside the first 2 rounds in the UFC. And at some point, I think Rodriguez does get the finish. And I'm going to be playing his pure finish prop at plus 150. And he's a lock in my DFS.
Absolutely. He's at 8,600, yeah. So both of us are on the favorite in Ronaldo Rodriguez. He should absolutely be a bigger favorite than he is. Next up, we've got Daniel Zellhuber going against Esteban Ribovics. And Joey, where are you at in this one?
I'll say this. I am not paying no 9,000 for fucking Zellhuber.
Nope.
No chance, no way, no how. But I will say this. He better mind his fucking P's and Q's in this fight. Because I told people all week, I have a feeling that people might have him in parlays and he's going to be your fucking potential parlay buster. Yes, he has his own volume, but he's another guy who's also flat-footed at times. He'll stick to his jab. He'll stick at range at bay. There's a chance I think Ribovic is the more well-rounded fighter. He has wrestling. He has takedowns. He has good ground and pound. I think he's going to have to get inside of that long reach first to actually land clean. That or get it against the cage and make it dirty. So with that, and mainly due to the price tag, I'm going Ribovic. I think, is it probably safe that Zellhuber probably wins a point decision? More than likely. But I'm going pure value. When Ribovic does win, he does finish. And even if he does finish at 7,200, you tell me he gets some striking in, some takedowns and control, he pays off his tag at 7,200. It's mainly due to a salary pick where I'm going big.
Yeah,
But
no, I don't disagree with that at all. And in fact, I have Ribovics in my line right now. I did take Zellhuber to win for the exact reason that she said. Um, Ribovics has to get this inside the pocket, and it's not going to be easy. He's losing 8 inches of reach in this fight. Plus, Zellhuber is 3 inches taller than him. So that's 3 inches in height, 8 inches in reach. That's tough for anybody to get into the pocket on it. Could he get in there? Could he take him down? Absolutely.
yeah,
If he comes in and he fakes an uppercut or a jab and then drops to the leg and pulls both, you could see the end of the fight right there. Because if this hits the ground, we're going to see ground and pound, and it's going to be
yep.
nasty. So I absolutely love Ribovics as a play for you, especially for a GPP contests. Joey is completely right. Do not put either one of these guys in a parlay. That'd be just
No, please
terrible.
don't.
You can put Ribovics in there. That's fine. I would not use Zellhuber as any type of safe parlay because I'd say this fight is more of a 50-50. I'm surprised that the odds are as far away as they are, just given how this fight could potentially go. But I do have Zellhuber just because of the reach advantage. That's it.
Nothing's wrong with that. But the line is extremely high.
Yeah, way too high. So we are split on that one as the first fight that we are split on. I've got the favorite in Zellhuber. Joey's got the dog in Ribovics. Next up, we've got with the start of the main trio of fights that everybody's going to want to watch. We got Brian T. City Ortega going against Diego fucking Lopez. And once again, I'm staying on the train. I have Lopez. He is a fucking beast. He's going to knock Ortega out. And I actually really hope that we get to see some grappling in this fight because people still have not gotten to see how great of a grappler Lopez is. I say it every time we talk about his fights, where his family is, what his family is, where they come from, everything that they do, man. This is going to be a hell of a fight. If this could be a main event, I would absolutely have it there. But
Oh, yeah.
these are two of my favorite fighters, but I've got Lopez, man.
So I'll say this, and Drake knows I am a big time Ortega guy, have been for
Did
ages.
you flip?
No, I
Are
did
you
not
going?
flip.
Okay.
No, I did not flip. Let me finish, Mr. Drake. Thank you. Down that fucking Mountain Dew while I'm talking. But I will be realistic here. I I think this fight is gonna play close, but I would love to see grappling. The last time we seen Lopes grappling, it was his debut, short notice, and he damn near ripped Mozart's knee off his fucking leg. And I thought he did for a second because he was not liking the way that knee bar looked. But I will be realistic here. Ortega hasn't been finished in the UFC. Does Lopes have the power to potentially rock him? And then it might be like one of those, depending on who the ref is. Ortega might not even be out. But if he gets rocked the wrong way, this ref steps in, no, 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 and do that, it wouldn't shock me. But I think this fight is going to play a tad bit close because Ortega's durability is good as fuck. And I give it to him. His boxing, his straight up boxing has gotten a lot better. And that's one thing that does worry me just a teeny bit, not too much because I am on Lopes. But when you're going against a wild fighter like Lopes who comes in the pocket, tries to boom, boom, what happens is you leave your straight boxing open to get hit in the chin. I'm not saying it's going to rock him, but he could walk into some jabs and some combinations. I think this fight, I actually like the fight to go over 1.5. If you can get the line there, the 1.5 line. Last time I saw the fight was over under 2, which I don't know if I really trust that because I think somebody could get potentially finished. But this fight, I think I really like. I'm gonna sprinkle Lopes by decision because I haven't seen it until I see fucking Ortega actually get finished. I do think Lopes the more dangerous guy, and I know Ortega is talking about going up to 55, win or loss, and but yeah, I got Lopes. I've been on the Lopes train with Drake for the longest time, except outside of that Youssef fight, which I don't know why I had a weird Spider-Man hinge on that fight. But the crazy thing is, I picked Youssef and I played Lopes, so I was like, "What the fuck? I'm a fucking hypocrite for that." But yeah, I'm on Lopes.
Absolutely. So both of us are going with the favorite in Diego
Oh, one more
Lopez.
thing.
Next up,
If since I am playing Lopes by decision, I think without a finish on either side, I don't know how close it gets. Scoring high,
yeah.
depending. That's just my feeling. But if you're on Drake's side, Lopes gets a finish,
All right,
absolutely scores like over 115 probably.
probably. Next up, we've got the co-main event. We've got Alexa Grasso going against Valentina Shevchenko, and I do not think we will be getting a draw on this one.
No,
Uh, I don't think there should have been a draw in the last one. It was a close fight, but
it was.
but it is what it is. Joey, who are you going with? Are you sticking with your girl Grasso?
I am sticking with my girl Grasso. I'll tell people this. Was she losing the fight before she got the finish in the first fight? Yes, she was losing that fight. She showed a lot of heart. The second fight, she did show more improvement in her striking and her overall takedown defense, but it was still a close fight. I watched it 3 times today. I gave Grasso one, Shevchenko one, and then the third time I watched, I slightly gave Grasso. So that fight could have been anywhere. Coin flip, it could have been, oh, Shevchenko won. Okay, I could have saw it. You know, and Grasso at her young age, she's working with good people. Also, Diego Lopes, who's definitely like, look, your grappling is going to get a lot better working with me. And clearly it has, especially her getting that finish in the first fight. I got Grasso. She's a younger fighter. Her boxing combinations are absolutely on point. But the only thing I think what Shevchenko is going to do in this fight is definitely get the leg kicks going early to slow down the overall footwork of Grasso. I'm tad worried on that. But Grasso is towards the back end of her career, too. She's 35, 36. That's the only little slight worry for me. I think Grasso keep improving at 32. I think her game could continue to grow. I'm on Grasso, and for DFS, I've never done this, and there's times where you tell me to do it. I do believe I may potentially stack this fight.
Yo, they both scored 90 last fights, and that was on a
Yeah,
fucking draw. So
I may potentially stack this fight, but I don't know.
yeah, it's definitely a tough call, and I completely agree with that because I've also had the same inkling after they both put up 90 last time, and if there was a winner, then it would have been 90 and 120. I am on the opposite side though. I've got Valentina. I'm going back to the well. I think she knocks Grasso out in this fight. I think Valentina is done playing around. I think she's tired of her shit. I think she's tired of Grasso saying that she's better than her. And Shevchenko's getting the belt back in this one.
Okay.
So I've got her. I think she destroys her. It's gonna be freaking great. Either way, it's gonna be a good fight. Uh, I just think that Valentina gets it done again.
I'll be playing Grasso by decision.
I've seen actually a lot of people make bets of Grasso by decision or Shevchenko by TKO, KO, DQ.
I can see
So
that.
it's not a bad bet for a two-way.
Hmm.
But we are split on that one. Joey has Alexa Grasso. I have Valentina Shevchenko. Next up, we have the main event. We have Sugar Sean O'Malley going against Merab Dvalishvili. I will go first because it is the 10th fight. It is the even number, and I am going with my boy Dvalishvili. I have not taken him in any fight that he has been in. I have been right in every single fight because he hasn't lost since Ricky Simone way back in 2018. There's a lot of worries and doubts in this fight. Absolutely. We saw what O'Malley did to Sterling. The difference being between Sterling and Merab. Merab is the better wrestler grappler overall. So we might see exactly what Merab did to Aldo, where he just holds him up against the fence and beats the shit out of him the entire time. Will it make a boring fight? Yes. Will people criticize him? Yes. But guess what? This is MMA, mixed martial arts. It's not striking. It's not boxing. It's nothing like that. You get what you get. The fighters fight with their best skills and whatever they can to get the belt. And in this case, Dvalishvili is the more skilled fighter. If he runs into a buzzsaw and O'Malley knocks him out, it happens, but I don't think that O'Malley has that much power. Sterling ran into a shot. So I don't see Dvalishvili doing that. I got Marab.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep this nice and short. And he said it after the contender series. Welcome to the Sugar Show. And guess what? The Sugar Show is gonna come out and get a knockout in this fight. Mainly due to the fact if he's gonna win, it's gonna be by knockout. There's no way in hell he probably wins a 25-minute fight. Because Marab is gonna make this potentially a boring chain wrestle fight. Even though he barely got autoed down, he kept him on the cage, going after leg,
Which is
ankle,
tough
ankle,
because
kick.
if all those
Yes.
pedigree, that's not easy to do.
But I think what's going to happen is if you go back to Marab's fights, there's times where he does walk into punches and he does get rocked, like he did in a few fights after. And
Marlon
somebody
Murray.
said that, huh?
Marlon Murray.
Yeah,
He's the only guy
Marlon
that's made him stumble.
and Batista looked like he choked him out, but they didn't call it out because he looked like he was snoring after that fight a little bit. But I think there's a chance he walks into a punch and O'Malley wins within the first 2 rounds.
I think you're crazy for that.
Sugar Show.
Dvalishvili. Give
I'll
me the
say this right
Georgia.
now. O'Malley's next fight, potentially, then that's a different conversation we can talk about. But
Nah, Dvalishvili's getting the belt and he ain't gonna lose it. So that wraps up this card. We are split on the main event. I have the dog in Marab. Actually, no, he's a favorite now, isn't he?
no, he's a dog.
Okay. I wasn't sure if the odds flipped. They're very close.
O'Malley minus 140.
They were closer a few days ago.
Ooh.
I've got the dog in Marab Dvalishvili. Joey has the favorite in Sugar Sean. That wraps up this card.
Yep.
It is this Saturday. It's at the Sphere in Las Vegas. It's going to be a hell of a fight. It is UFC NOCHE. There is a storytelling event going on during it. I have no idea what the hell that means, but Dana's got it out. Apparently, the event is now sold out,
Yep.
according to Dana as of this morning. And man, it is going to be a hell of a card.
And just so you know, since you're on both dogs on the both title fights, you could parlay them together. I got this, they're both plus 115. You get plus 362.
Yes, sir. So that wraps up that. We do have a break next week. There is no card. So we will be back in 2 weeks for Moicano versus BSD.
And France.
And Danny. Definitely looking forward to that. But Joe, you got
Really
anything else to add?
No, sir. Let's get it. And
All right.
still for both.
Oof, man. And new. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll catch you next week.